we first started tying these flies, it wasn't because we were trying to make bigger flies really, it was because we used to tie on these just enormous hooks. When we knew that we wanted to have these big flies, but we were using these, they're Carrie Stevens trolling hooks. And what was happening is we'd get these huge fish to come up and they always eat the head. I mean, predators have to eat the head. A sculpin has a spiny dorsal. If it eats it from the tail, he's gonna die. Not the minnow, the big trout. And we kept having these fish drill the head of these flies, and you just set the hook as hard as you could, and you couldn't get a hook into them.
Oh, that
So
guy.
we started realizing, we started looking around,
Brownie.
and you start looking at saltwater hooks, and every saltwater hook you see, I mean a marlin hook's this long. Tarpon hooks are 1.5 inches, 2 at the best. And you think about it, a lot of that comes, they know that those huge, a tarpon got a face this big, they still know the fish is gonna eat the head of the fly. They come up, they do that. But if I'm gonna take a hook off of a fly, it's always gonna be the back hook. Because I think the fish always eats the head of the hook. You frequently hear people say, oh, he's hitting the tail. I guarantee you, a real fish does not hit the tail. If they're coming in to stun the minnow, they still hit it in the head. You're not gonna stun anything hitting in its tail. So they come in and they hit the head. So I'm always gonna have the front hook. And I do catch fish occasionally on the back hook, but more times than not, you'll see it's back here. They've got the front hook in their mouth, and they've got the other one back here. Juvenile fish will come up and tap at flies. A real fish doesn't play with a fly. It comes up and eats the thing. And so the first fly that I articulated it with any success at all was just this basic TNA. It's 2 hooks, short shank up here, back hooks back there, and it did everything we asked it to do. It swam, it had all types of motion, and it was a super positive hookup because we had the front hook. The second fly, and what happened with this was I happened to be fishing behind a couple guys I know, and they were fishing a jointed Rapala. And it was just a sequence of events, but everybody knows how successful a jointed Rapala is. This is a standard Rapala. A jointed Rapala is broke in the middle, and it swims like this. And I started looking at how we were articulating our flies, and that's when we started doing, when you looked at the Rapala, it has 2 O-rings that are set like this. So the back hook kind of rotates on it. So what we did is we switched to ring eye hooks in the back, so it's a flat eye like this, and then your loop coming out of your front goes into the eye like that. So now we're establishing not only a bigger fly, a short shank hook, but now we've established the S swim. That was incredible. So the next one that came to be was the bunker style, the TNA bunkers. And what these were first designed to do was to be alewife patterns for the Great Lakes. And then Bob and I were fishing on the Ausable, Bob Linseman and I, and we started realizing we were having trouble catching these fish for a period of time. And what was happening is the state was planting small rainbows, and the big browns were just hoovering these things up. So that's where this kind of, the transition, it went from gray to green to rainbow striped. Here, village idiot, come on. Come on.
Eat the bunker.
Haven't seen a wing down all day. Oh, not that one.
There we go.
Oh, he's a thumper. Guess I lied. He's a digger. Can't see him. Ooh, big fish. Nice fish. Good to start after 5 hours with a good one. Ooh, chomper. He's got an extra fly in him. He's got a fly in his dorsal fin. He's got a whole bunch of stuff in him. Look at this thing. Oh, he's a thumper. He's got, this thing's got a whole bunch of line hooked on him. My fly's in his head, and I'm hooked on a, I'm hooked on a Rapala. He's having a bad life. Look at that. Got Rapala here, TNA up top. There we go. Look at that brownie. How big grass. Falling down. 4 hours. It took me 4 hours going in. Wearing the Rapala, eating the fly. Bad, good. And then we were looking at all these flies that we're trying to, the woolly sculpin, for example. We were trying to figure out how do we articulate the woolly sculpin. And then one of the guys that guided for me, Russ Madden, he came up. He didn't want to deal with the whole hair stuff. He didn't like messing with it. And he came up with the circus peanut. And that was this fly here. The circus peanut is one of the best flies. I wish I'd have been the guy who hadn't spun the hair on. I love the circus peanut. It's a little heavy for me, so my version of the circus peanut is right here. I just cone-headed it, took the weight out of it, put a little bit more bulk in it, put a little bit more marabou in it. That fly is called the Peanut Envy for obvious reasons, is that the circus peanut was so incredible. That was kind of a knockoff of it. Fish. Fish. Whoa! Woohoo! Brownie.
Told you they're here.
Brownie. They's growing. They growing. Nice. Look at that little brownie.
They're in this type of water.
Peanut Envy. And then, of course, that's coming through the butt monkey being such an incredible fly. I wanted to articulate that. I just wanted more motion out of it. And then the heifer groomer or fathead, whichever name sticks with you, this is the articulated zoo cougar. It's just mostly marabou and double flank feathers. The flank feathers are the critical part of that fly. That's what makes it swim so well. The goat bunker, that's the TNA, the same kind of transition. This is a fly that I just wanted. I wanted more bulk to the fly. I wanted a fly that moved some water. When you see that fly wet, it's a big piece of fly. Then we go to the tips up or the bottoms up. This is a pretty unique fly. This fly has popper heads in the tailing hook. And the idea of that is I wanted a fly much like the banjo minnow. I wanted a fly that moves on its own. So these popper heads are always trying to stand up. This is one of the best crayfish patterns that I've ever seen. This fly stands up like this whenever you slow down. It's a pretty unique fly. And then we articulated the zonkers. And then next you've got the double screamer. In the video you've seen us go to the double screamer. That particular fly right there is a Dan Delecta fly. On a bright day, no matter what, I'm going to put this fly on first or second. I'm either going to go straight white or I'm going on a bright sunny day. The olive black and silver double screamer is just one of my go-to bugs. I just love that thing. And then next what we've got are the boogeymen. And again, this is like a lot of the flies that we tie. The boogeyman is a butt monkey, fathead, circus peanut combination. This is everything. This has become my go-to fly, actually. The boogeyman in the last year has just absolutely lit it up. When we were on the Wind River, I put on the gray boogeyman. That's when it just lit it up. That's become my go-to fly. Oh, he came and got it twice. That's a big one. Oh, that might be the same fish. It's right underneath Gino. Come to me.
What do you eat, Kelly?
Boogeyman. He's got a hump on him. Woohoo! They're growing up. Let me grab that fly. He's got
That is a big brown. Look how heavy she is.
Look at the gut on that thing. Humpy little thing.
Big fin.
They're growing.
What fly did she eat?
the Olive Boogeyman, but honestly, I was just about to change.
Yeah.
But you got to get used to that when you're hunting big fish. You know, you just don't get all of them.
Sure.
You know, you see them. My hands got warm again.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And the last one I've got here is called, this is the Swimmy Jimmy. This is Andy Sabota's pattern. This is the first fly that I think was ever invented. It's kind of a combination of several flies, but it's the first fly that was designed to be a diving, floating fly. It goes down, it wobbles like this, and it's got some reasons that it does that. I'll show you in a second. It wobbles, you fish it on a sinking line, and it pops back to the surface. It's crazy what fish do to this fly. Everybody knows Mike Lawson. Mike Lawson's one of the best dry fly guys in the world. Mike absolutely loves this fly. If you can get Mike Lawson to fish a fly like this, you know it's got to be fun to fish. This fly is built, the unique thing on it is that you can see it's bent. It's got a 30-degree bend to the hook. So the hook's bent down like this, has a convex head, so that when you pull on it, the head goes down, and then it starts wobbling back and forth. When you slow down, the fly pops to the surface. So what you've got here is you've got a whole bunch of different pattern styles. There's many, many, many more. These are just the ones I pulled out of my fly box. There are an enormous number of tyers that are out there that are articulating flies and coming up with stuff. Not all these are my flies. A lot of them are, not all of them. But it's a unique thing. It's really fun. You've got multiple things that are triggering the fish. I like two directions. I like to either go straight across and start it, and even if you go straight across, you really are going to get the head going down a little bit anyway.
Sure.
What I don't like to do is have, you know, kind of the old traditional thing where people throw downstream and swing it like this.
Sure.
I don't like to back the fly into the fish. I like it to be coming broadside, ideally broadside or just slightly head, just like that, just a little bit downstream. And a couple of things that happens that way, you know, kind of theory is that a escaping minnow
Is not going to go up current.
yeah, it's not going to go up current and stick his butt into into the fish's face. And, you know, one of the misconceptions of sinking lines is that they're hard to cast, and then you'll hear people say, I can't mend them. But really, you're not looking to mend it. That little bit of belly that gets in the fly, in the line, I mean, helps it. You can see it. All you gotta do is barely touch the line and the fly manipulates.
An immediate response.
Yeah, because there's tension on the line. You're static to the fly. Another thing I like to do with the fly is, especially when I'm fishing with a floating line, and it's called a switch mend, where if I've got a bank, this isn't ideal here, but if I've got a bank, I'll run it out and I'll run the fly's head upstream, give it 2 or 3, and then I'll do a switch mend and then turn it sideways.
Sure.
And I tell you, I get so many eats when you do that. You set the fly out head first, twitch it upstream, then you do your downstream mend, and you turn it, and you can make the fly parallel. You know, you get a cut bank, or you get a big log or something like that. You simply set the fly up, his head upstream, twitch, 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 and then just do a mend and totally turn it sideways. It's amazing how often, right as the fly turns, because our flies, we don't really do that often. If something turns around, it just gives it that much more life.
Sure.
Or if you want to run parallel to one of those, you just do a downstream mend, and you still get that belly in your line that is twitching. You know, you're still static to the fly, but you get the opportunity to run it parallel with the bank, with the fly going downstream. 90% of the time, I set the fly just like that. You get lots of action out of the fly. No matter how fast you want it to go, you know, if you want to start ripping it through there like that, or if you do like just a subtle jig thing like we were doing earlier, you can manipulate it. You've always got control of the fly. When we were talking about the jerk strip, I jerk the rod, strip the excess, jerk the rod, and you get that manipulation with the fly. And your rod really stays in the same spot all the time. You know,
you jerk, you strip, you jerk, you strip, and you're always, as we were talking about, you get that opportunity to set no matter if you're in mid, you jerk, strip, jerk, no matter what, if if he eats it while you're jerking on it, you get a piece of him.
So basically, to wrap it up on these flies, what we've done is we've tried to make flies, that swim with an S swim, project a big profile, lots of profile, so it looks like an actual minnow, but we're trying to keep the flies light because they're designed to fish basically with a sinking line. If you're gonna do it on a floating line, you might have to throw a little cone head on your leader or a tungsten bead or something like that. But for the most part, these are just trying to project a big image without being super heavy and really fun to fish.